Have you ever wondered why some individuals struggle to face those they've wronged? This complex emotional dynamic involves deep-rooted feelings of shame and guilt that can profoundly impact both parties involved. Today, we're going to explore the psychology of shame and how it affects our actions and interactions with others. Understanding these mechanisms can help us navigate our relationships more thoughtfully and compassionately. Shame is a powerful, painful feeling that arises when a person believes they have done something that is morally wrong or socially unacceptable. It's more intense than embarrassment and more personally binding than guilt. While guilt is a response to our actions against our moral code, shame involves a negative evaluation of our entire self. This deep-seated emotion can drastically influence how we see ourselves and our place in the social fabric. Psychologists suggest that shame is rooted in our evolutionary past, functioning as a regulator of social behavior. It acts as an internal alarm that warns us when we are at risk of being socially excluded for our actions. But when this feeling is triggered by mistreating someone, it becomes a heavy burden, sometimes leading to a complete reevaluation of one's self-worth and actions. Understanding this can be crucial in understanding why someone may avoid facing the person they've wronged, as confronting them would mean facing the full extent of their shameful actions. Initially, when someone mistreats another, there may be an imbalance of power. The perpetrator, feeling dominant or justified, may not recognize the immediate implications of their actions. But as time passes, this perception can change dramatically. The realization that one's actions have caused genuine harm to another can shift the power dynamics, turning the initial feeling of control into a profound sense of vulnerability. This shift is pivotal as it marks the beginning of the emotional turmoil associated with shame. The realization often comes with introspection and sometimes the unwillingness to face the reality of the situation. It's not just about acknowledging that one has done something wrong. It's also about realizing that this action has potentially altered how others perceive them. This can be a startling revelation, especially for those who have never had to question their actions or motives deeply. In considering the effects of shame, it's essential to recognize the role of social perception in amplifying these feelings. Humans are inherently social beings, and our actions are often influenced by how we expect others to see us. This fear of judgment is not trivial. It can alter one's behavior significantly. For example, the dread of being seen as cruel or unjust can lead a person to avoid situations where they might face the individual they've wronged. This avoidance is a protective mechanism, shielding them from direct confrontation with both the person they hurt and the broader social implications of their actions. It's a clear illustration of how our understanding of others' perceptions can dictate our actions, sometimes leading to further withdrawal from social interactions. Following the recognition of how their actions are perceived socially, an individual often comes to a critical point: the realization of the consequences of their behavior. This realization is a significant turning point and can be quite jarring. It involves recognizing the pain inflicted on another and the ripple effects of this pain on relationships, trust, and personal integrity. This moment of realization brings about a profound internal conflict. On one side, there is a desire to right the wrongs, to seek forgiveness and reestablish lost connections. On the other hand, there's a powerful urge to retreat, driven by the fear of facing the full extent of the emotional and social fallout. This internal battle can be tumultuous, as it involves grappling with feelings of guilt and the fear of not being forgiven. Going through this phase requires a deep, often painful introspection and a willingness to face up to one's actions. The process is not just about dealing with the immediate emotional discomfort, but also about understanding the long-term impacts of one's actions on others' lives. It's about acknowledging that the path to healing and forgiveness is often long and fraught with emotional challenges. While we look into the emotional landscape shaped by mistreatment and shame, the role of empathy emerges as a pivotal element. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, can be a transformative force for those dealing with shame. It acts as a bridge between recognizing the pain caused and taking steps to alleviate it. For someone who has mistreated another, developing empathy can be both challenging and enlightening. It involves stepping out of one's own emotional turmoil and entering the emotional world of the person they've wronged. This shift is crucial because it moves the individual from a self-centered perspective to a more balanced understanding of the impact of their actions. Through empathy, the realization deepens that the actions which cause shame are not just personal failures, but have real consequences for others. The development of empathy leads directly to the next critical phase, the loss of moral high ground. Initially, individuals may justify their mistreatment of others through various rationalizations, believing in the necessity or inevitability of their actions. But as empathy grows, these justifications become untenable. The person must confront the truth that their actions were harmful and that any perceived moral high ground they held was illusory. This loss is often accompanied by a profound sense of disillusionment with oneself. It challenges the individual's self-image and moral identity, leading to a crucial juncture. At this point, the person must decide whether to continue living in denial or to embrace the difficult path of personal growth and reconciliation. Choosing the latter involves acknowledging their flaws and working towards becoming a better, more empathetic individual. While we continue to explore the psychological effects of mistreatment and shame, the fear of confrontation stands out as a significant barrier for many. This fear is not just about facing the person who has been wronged, it's about confronting the uncomfortable truths about oneself. It involves acknowledging not just what was done, but also why it was done, which can be a daunting prospect. This fear can manifest in various ways, often leading to avoidance behaviors. Individuals may find excuses to not interact with the person they've mistreated, or they might withdraw from social situations where they might encounter them. This avoidance is a defense mechanism, protecting the individual from the intense emotional discomfort that confrontation can bring. But it also impedes the process of making amends and moving forward. Following the fear of confrontation, individuals often experience a personal identity crisis. This crisis stems from the dissonance between how they perceive themselves and the reality of their actions. For someone who has always viewed themselves as kind, just, or moral, acknowledging that their actions have hurt others can lead to a profound reevaluation of their self-concept. This identity crisis can be a turning point. It forces the individual to reconcile their self-image with their actions, which is essential for authentic growth. The process involves a painful but necessary redefinition of one's values and beliefs. It's about rebuilding one's identity, not around the illusion of perfection, but around a more honest and compassionate understanding of oneself. Going through the internal turmoil of a personal identity crisis often leads individuals to a state of social isolation. This isolation is not merely a physical withdrawal from social interactions, but also an emotional distancing. As individuals grapple with their reshaped self-identity, they might find it challenging to engage with others, fearing judgment or further confrontation about their past actions. This phase of social isolation can have significant psychological impacts. It may seem like a protective measure, providing a space to deal with personal issues without external pressures. But prolonged isolation can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and depression, making it harder to eventually reconnect with others. It's crucial during this time to find a balance, acknowledging the need for personal space while not completely severing social ties. Emerging from social isolation involves taking deliberate steps on a path to redemption. This journey is about more than just making amends. It involves a deep personal transformation and a commitment to living according to new values of integrity and empathy. The first step often includes reaching out to those harmed, expressing genuine remorse, and taking responsibility for one's actions without expecting immediate forgiveness. This path is not linear or easy. It requires ongoing effort and can be fraught with setbacks. Each step forward reinforces the individual's commitment to change and growth. Over time, these efforts can help rebuild trust and restore relationships that were damaged, not just through apologies, but through consistent, changed behavior that demonstrates a sincere shift in character. In our video today, we've looked into the psychological journey from experiencing shame due to mistreatment, through the struggles of identity crisis and social isolation, to ultimately starting on a path to redemption. This journey is fraught with challenges and requires profound personal changes, but it is essential for true healing and growth. Understanding these dynamics helps us foster greater empathy and patience, not only towards others but also towards ourselves, as we navigate the complexities of human relationships and personal development. If you found value in this discussion and believe in the power of transformation and healing, please like this video to support the channel. Share it with friends or anyone who might benefit from understanding more about these emotional processes. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights and strategies on personal growth and improving relationships. Your engagement helps us grow and continue providing valuable content. Thank you for watching, and remember, the journey of self-improvement is always worth the effort.